Hey you guys, hopefully I am live and you can hear me. The internet is acting crazy, and so hopefully this is gonna work. I'm trying to come to you live from my phone. It is Sunday, May the 5th, and just wanted to talk to y'all for a few minutes because even though we officially kick off May tomorrow night on our first call together, I hope that you have been doing some soul searching, some thinking, some ruminating on the thought of freedom in your life. This month I felt so strongly compelled to bring us back to a mindset of moving towards greater levels of freedom, because at the end of the day, that is absolutely our goal. And I had mentioned the other day that things that bring some people freedom, some activities, some methods that bring some people freedom are actually a hindrance to freedom to others. It just depends on where you are in your journey or your mindset. I use the example of a carnivore diet, for example. I believe it's healthy and it can work for anybody, but it won't if your mindset isn't right around it. So for a person who gets freedom in not having to make choices because they know for sure that their choices are narrowed down, they appreciate that lifestyle as a path to freedom, that they're not constantly thinking about food, what are they going to eat, all that kind of thing. For a person who sees it as extremely restrictive and they're thinking about, well, I have to give up this and I have to give up this, and the only thing I can have is this, it can be a stumbling block, because then it turns into restriction, and then restriction always comes with rebellion. So they don't see it as a path to freedom, they see it as a prison. And so I just love that example. There's tons of examples. So as we're talking about freedom this month, remember, your method might not look like somebody else's, as long as what's happening here is that we're being honest about where we need to be free. And I believe freedom's available to us in every single area of our life. There's still areas that I really need freedom in. There's areas I'm still working on. There's still something there that needs to be broken through, and I believe that is possible. And that's why I keep pushing forward. My journey's not done. I'm not just here to say, hey, I did it, and so can you. I'm here to say, I'm doing it, and so can you. So, but anyway, I was having a conversation this morning with one of the members of this group, and she had asked me some questions, but one of the things she said was, I haven't made major progress in terms of weight loss in a couple of months. And that might be something you're dealing with. I know I had posted that old video of me talking about egg fast, because April had asked about, what do you think about this egg fast? Well, I'm going to tell you, I've done all those fasts. I've done egg fast multiple times. I actually did an egg fast when I was 11 years old. There was no such thing. I like to say I invented it. I had just figured out, like, there's this many calories in an egg, so if I eat this many eggs, then I stay under this many calories, and I found they filled me up. So that was back when I was 11 years old. I actually did an egg fast, but anyway, I've done them since. But I've also done sardine fast. I know there's the hamburger fast. There's the BBBE, beef, butter, eggs, and bacon fast. There's fat fasting, where all you do is consume fat, no protein or carbs. Like I said, they're all gimmicky things, but what they point towards is we are looking for something that will move the needle and break a stall. And I'm going to submit to you that while some of those things work, you usually rebound pretty hard from them. Again, because you're kind of seeing it as temporary and restrictive, and with restriction comes rebellion, and rebound comes with rebellion. So I wanted today to remind you that there is something you can do, and you're not you're not stuck. If you're doing all of these things and you're still stuck, then we can dig a little deeper and figure out what's going on. But I want to remind you of just the elements of fat loss. If you're not losing inches, I hate to say weight, if you're not getting smaller and working towards your goal, if you're not losing sizes, if you're not making progress, really truly not making progress, I'm not just going to say weight, if you're not losing fat, go back to this and ask yourself each one of these things. Number one, is there anything that I'm eating that's a compromise? Is there something I'm consuming that's a compromise? You might be totally keto. You might even be totally carnivore, but you're eating too much butter, or you're eating too much cheese, or maybe you're eating sweeteners, or you are making lots of recipes and things, and they taste so good. I'll give you an example: keto bread or carnivore bread even. It tastes so good that you overeat it. So is there a compromise in your eating? The actual food, look at that first. Is there too much of something? Have you compromised? I find when I allow dairy back in my diet, it tends to turn into a compromise for me, specifically with cheese. That's something I still need to overcome. But I know enough to know that it's a struggle. And so by opening a door to it, I'm inviting a struggle at this point, and I don't want that. So that's just an example. So look at your food first. Is there a compromise there? That's the first thing. Second thing is, how often are you eating and drinking? Remember, frequency, after addressing what you're eating, frequency of eating is the second most important factor in determining whether you're going to lose fat or not. And some people are like, no, I'm just eating 2 meals, but then you're having a fatty coffee, or you're drinking diet drinks during the day, or there's things that cause an insulin reaction that you're consuming that you're not really counting, or maybe you just get a handful of nuts, or maybe it's just a cheese stick. That's what the problem is. So frequency is the second thing to look at if you are feeling stuck. The third thing is an eating window. I think 6 hours is pretty ideal, but having an eating window and a hardcore cutoff time, I simply don't eat after this time, are both really important factors in fat loss. Have you lost sight of that? Has it just sort of gotten messy and you haven't paid attention to it? That could be one of the things that's keeping you from moving forward. And then, of course, movement. If you're doing all those things, if you're watching what you eat, how often, and you're eating within a window and you're finishing at a reasonable time, start moving a little bit more, or more consistently. Not necessarily more, just more consistently. If you're doing one type of movement, switch to something else. If you're doing hardcore cardio and that's not doing it for you, pick up some weights, or start slow walking, or there's just a lot of different things that you can do. So at the end of the conversation with this person this morning, she was like, yeah, there's opportunity. And I said, good. Because if a person says to me, Jessica, I'm doing all those things, then we have to dig into some really deep stuff to figure out what's going on with you. But if you have opportunity in any of those areas, and guess what? I personally do. It's so easy to get into a routine and things just slide. You think you got it, and then at some point you stop doing it. So if you have opportunity, good. It means there's something that you can do. But I just want to come on and talk about that today. Tomorrow night, of course, at 7 Eastern, we'll have our Zoom, and we'll really dig into freedom, what affects that, what can you do to get freer, and we're really going to be talking about that. So of course, I'm happy to carry anything from this conversation over into that one, but that's going to be our main thing, because freedom is in our mind. our mind affects our behaviors, and our behaviors affect our outcome. But I wanted to give you some practical stuff today and just remind you. It's nothing I haven't talked about before, but sometimes we just need to be reminded. Sometimes I have to remind myself. Yeah, there's no reason to be frustrated, because frustration only comes when you look at your situation and you believe there's nothing you can do. As long as there's something you can do, there is no need for frustration. So again, I really truly hope this all comes out and comes through to you. I've tried for a little bit, and even now I'm looking over at my desktop and it's just not doing what it's supposed to do. So hopefully this comes through loud and clear today. I know I have a request from a couple people about a couple of different subjects, one of them being cholesterol, which I'm passionate about. So I'll definitely be talking about that. What do your results mean? How should you view them? How should you look at them? And that is a complex subject, but I'm looking forward to covering that. But anyway, anytime something comes up you want to hear me talk about, tell me, because I really want to. And if it's something I don't know enough about, I'll actually spend some time researching it. But most things have come up repeatedly over the last 8+ years, either for myself personally or a family member, or for, from hundreds and hundreds of clients. Like, most things have come up. There's rarely a new thing, but I'm always happy to research it. If I don't know, I'll just tell you that. Or I'll reach out to someone that I know does know, the expert in that particular area. So hope y'all are having a good Sunday, and just wanted to show my face and talk about those couple things, and have you remember that there is always something you can do. You are not stuck. All right, talk to you later.